Okay, welcome to today's lesson review. Today I want to briefly go over contractions with is and are. So remember, first to review, is and are two forms of the verb to be. The meaning's the same, but we use them with different subjects in the sentence. Is for when there's a singular subject, one thing, and are is for when there are plural subjects, more than one thing. For example, if I have one son, or I talk about one son, I say my son, that's one, my son is in school today. If I have two sons, everything in the sentence stays the same, but this changes. Two sons, my sons are in school today. Easy. So, you know in English we love our contractions, right? The native speakers love their contractions. So, if I have one son, I can say my son is in school today. But I can turn these two words into a contraction sometimes. And I may say, my son's in school today. My son's in school today. So pay attention to the pronunciation on this word. This is important, especially if you use contractions and you want to speak more quickly or listen to people speaking quickly. You have to listen carefully to pronunciation. The word is the short I, is. And that S is like a hard voiced S sound. It's like a Z. Is. It's not is, it's not is, it's is. So practice that. It's worth practicing. My son is in school today. When I make the contraction, I turn son is into sons. My son's in school today. My son's in school today. Excellent. Now, what if it's not true? What if the sentence is going to be a negative sentence? We say my son is not in school today. If it's true, we say my son is in school today. In the negative, we say my son is not in school today. Pretty simple, but again, we love contractions. So we want a contraction here. So we have two choices what contractions to use. The first one, we may say, we take son is, like we did up here, and make it into sons. So we say my son is not. We could say my son's not. My son's not in school today. It feels very natural to me. My son's not in school today. But this is option one. There's another choice we have here. See these three words, son is not. The first option I showed you, we take son is, we make a contraction. We say my son's not. But these two words right here, is not, you've seen these before. You know native English speakers, we love to make this into a contraction too. So I may make is not into a contraction. The contraction I use for that, I think you know this, is isn't. So when I have these words, my son is not, maybe I'll say my son's not, and maybe I'll say my son isn't. These mean exactly the same thing, and they both feel equally natural to me as a native speaker. Now, whenever you speak, you can always choose to not use the contraction. You can always say, my son is not in school today. Native speakers will always understand this. But when we speak, I'm gonna say either my son's not in school today or my son isn't in school today. And you can try these out too. That's for the word is. How about the word are? Let's look at the same sentence, but like we did at the first slide, my sons, we'll pluralize this. My sons, there's more than one son, we say my sons are in school today. And again, if we can make a contraction out of these two words, we will. So I might say, my sons are in school today. My sons are in school today. This is a very subtle contraction, right? It's a little less formal. My sons are in school today. Hear the in there? My sons are in school today. My sons are in school today. And if it's not true, instead of saying my sons are in school today, we say my sons are not in school today. My sons are not in school today. And if I make a contraction there, the first choice is make this contraction just like we did up here. Same contraction all the way through. My sons are not can become my sons are not in school today. My sons are not in school today. I know the sonser is difficult to pronounce, so you don't have to pronounce it like I said, but you want to listen to native speakers. You want to understand them when they say that. This is one option. We could take sons are and make a contraction, but of course, I know you recognize again, are not. Those two words next to each other, we want to make a contraction when we're speaking English as native speakers. So here's the second choice. The second choice is we can say, my sons aren't in school today. My sons aren't in school today. So if we have my sons are not in school today, I can say either my sons are not in school today or my sons aren't in school today. Now for me, I think my sons aren't in school today is a little more natural. My sons are not in school today. Maybe I would say that, but maybe I would say all three words. Maybe I would just say my sons are not in school today. Just to review again, with the word is, my son's not, my son isn't, they're equally natural. They mean the same thing. But with are, I think my sons aren't is more natural than my sons are not in school today. So that was a quick review. I spoke quickly, I moved quickly, but you have the video so you can watch it again. Please have fun with these words, and I'll see you in class.